Lesson 3, the letters this week will be Manuscript, lowercase, N-M-R-P-I-J. Remembering that when you are sitting to begin to write, you need to be in proper handwriting position, top line, midline, baseline, descending space. Your paper is slightly slanted in the corner. Since I write with this hand, this corner goes up. If I were to write with my left hand, then that corner goes up. So make sure your paper is slightly slanted. You've got your cave down. You're holding your pencil correctly, pinching in between, and that it's laying in your bed. Let's begin. This is lowercase n. Midline, straight down to the baseline. Back up, hump over with a kick. Easy. Let's go again. Midline, straight down to the baseline. Stay on your line. Keep going back up that same line. Hump over at the midline and then kick at the baseline. These are quick verbal strokes then. Midline down, hump over, little kick. Midline down, hump over, little kick. Your turn to practice. Next letter will be lowercase m. I'm assuming that you have probably practiced at least one line, possibly two. I'm going to skip down to the next line. So again, how you find that is you find the dotted line that you've been writing on. You go and skip to the very next dotted line. You see the top line, midline, baseline, descending space. That's your total line that you're going to be writing on. Here we go. So midline, down, back up the same line, hump over, down to the midline, the baseline, then go back up and touch the midline again, hump over one more time, come back down with a little kick. There is your lowercase m. Very much like the n, but it needs an extra needs an extra hump. Midline, down to the baseline, hump over once, hump over twice, little kick. Midline, down to the baseline, hump over once, hump over twice, little kick. Midline, down to the baseline, hump over once, hump over twice, little kick. Make sure after you've practiced that your humps are actually touching, both humps are touching the midline, and that your lines are meeting at the baseline with your little kick at the end. That's very important. Thank you. Your turn. Next letter will be lowercase r. Begin at the midline, straight down to the baseline. Go straight back up that same line. This time you're going to make a little hump, come down a little bit, and then stop. So look how similar it looks to the N and the M, but we have to come up off of the midline a little bit and then stop before you continue down. So here we go. Midline down, back up, hump over and stop. Midline down, back up, hump over and stop. Midline down, back up, hump over and stop. One more time. Midline down, straight back up, hump over and stop. So make sure that your stopping point is not way down too low, too close to the baseline. It needs to be just a little bit off of the midline area. Making sure that your line is meeting at the midline. Many times I'll see students that will just make a letter R by going from baseline and just making a hump. You must have the back stick. So you must have the straight back. And then it comes back over and you hump over. All right, your turn to practice. Next letter we'll be practicing will be P, lowercase p. You need to begin at the midline. You're going to go straight down below into the descending space. Don't pick up your pencil, go straight back up that same line. Act like you're like a little car driving on your lane. Once you get close to the midline, you're going to hump over, big hump. You're going to make a big belly that will touch the baseline and then will close. So your P needs to have the stick down into the base, into the descending space, going back up, straight up there. Once you hit the midline, you're rounding it, make the big belly. The big belly has to touch the baseline, and then you close it. Ready? Midline, straight down below, straight back up, over and around, and close. Midline, straight down below, back up, over and around, and close. Midline, straight down below, straight back up, over and around, and close. One more time. Straight down below, straight back up, over and around, and close. Make sure that your P's are touching, the front part of your P is touching the midline and the baseline, of course, and that your letters are hanging down below into the descending space. Your turn. Our next letter will be lowercase I. Midline, midline, down to the baseline, going to make a little kick. Then you're going to go back up and dot the I. The I needs to be dotted in between the top line and the midline, right in between there. And then you need to have the end connector at the bottom. Makes it look pretty, and you're getting ready for cursive soon. So that will definitely help you. Midline, down, little kick, dot my I. When you dot your I, don't make it just a speck. Don't make it a giant like football or something. Just make it good enough to see. Midline, down to the baseline, little kick, and a dot to see. Midline, down to the baseline, little kick, and a dot to see. Midline, down to the baseline, little kick, and a dot to see. That one was a little bit crooked. I like all my letters to kind of be around the same slant and angle. So let me try again. Midline down to the baseline and a little dot to see. So then that kind of straightened my letter back up again. Try to have all your letters going in basically the same direction as best you can. Your turn. Our last letter that we're going to be practicing this week will be lowercase j. I have gone ahead and marked my corners of my paper with the L, remembering that I find the L at the left side of the paper with my L as my fingers. Then the other side is going to be the little capital R for the right side. Come down to the next line. All right, so lowercase j is going to begin at the midline. We're going to come straight down below into the descending space, and this will be a left hook, just like when we learned the G. And then you go back up and make a dot to C. Again, here we go. Midline, down below, into the descending space, left hook, a dot to C. Midline, down below, left hook, a dot to C. Midline, down below, left hook, a dot to C. Midline, down below, left hook, a dot to C. All right, so be sure your letters are coming down below into the descending space. That's where the baseline is, and then it keeps on going until you get to the next top line of the next line. So that is your descending space for letters that hang down below. It'll feel a little bit funny, it'll look a little bit funny to you until you get used to it. All right, your turn to practice. Next, we'll be practicing some words using the letters that we have just learned and some previous letters that we've learned as well. So this first word will be the word pin. This is pin, as in like a straight pin, sort of like this. And then a straight pin, usually used for like needles and things like that. This is not the same kind of pin that you write with. That's pen. So pin will be P-I-N. Midline, down below, straight back up, over and around. Make sure my round part are touching the midline and the baseline, and then stop. Needs to be super close to it. Super close. Do not spread apart. The I is just straight down, so we don't need any extra room right there for like a round part. Make sure you have a little fancy kick with your I dot that you can see. And then the N is midline, down, hump over one time with a kick. Pin. Practice one more time. Midline, down, over and around. I, little kick. N, down, hump over, little kick. Now in between these two words, do you see how there's a little separation right here? Sometimes I like to create like a little ghost O. So ghost O, and then I begin on the other side. This will help you with proper spacing in between words. Your turn to practice this right now. Next, we'll practice the word jar. That's J-A-R. Now I'm going to continue on the line that I'm working on because I have plenty of space here. Again, as I mentioned before, I'm going to make my ghost O, and then begin my word on the other side. This helps with my spacing. Midline, down below. Left hook, dot to C. A, again, is over, around, straight up, straight down with a kick. R, right next to it. I need no space, so I can go right next to it, straight down, back up, hump over a little, and stop. Jar. And look, I still have plenty of room. So my ghost O, I'm going to write my J, midline, down, left hook, dot to C, over, around, straight up, straight down with a kick, straight down, hump over, and stop. Your turn. The next word to practice will be jump. Jump, J-U-M-P. Now here I am working on this line. I'm going to go ahead and sort of act like I'm writing the word jump just to make sure I have enough space. I certainly do, so I'm going to write the word jump. Ghost O, midline, down, below, left hook, dot to C. My U, midline, U-turn, down below with a kick. M, stick down, go back up, hump over with a little kick. Now my P needs a straight back, very close to it. We're going to go back up, over and around, and close. Jump. Now I really don't have any more space, so I'm going down to the next guideline. I find my next dotted line. That's where I'll begin my J. Straight down below, left hook, dot to C, U-turn, straight down with a kick, straight down, go back up, hump over, little kick, P, midline down below, back up, over and around and close, jump. Your turn. Next word will be rang, rang. That's R-A-N-G. Midline, oh, my ghost letter. Midline, down, back up, hump over, stop. A, over and around, straight up, straight down with a kick. Now instead of being real close to the R, I had to come over to make some room for my round part in the front, but just a little bit. Now my N, I don't need to have anything in front of it, so I'm going to do my stick down, my straight line down, back up, hump over with a little kick. My G, I do need a little bit of round space, so I'm going to hop over, just skip over a little space like that, and then over, around, straight up, straight down below with a left hook. Rang. G. Pretty soon you'll be able to just sound out letters because you'll be very familiar with how the letters are formed. So the better you get, the more you can practice it that way. That was just a trial run. Okay, your turn. All right, the last word we'll be practicing will be ding, like ding dong. So ing, I-N-G. So we have our D, midline, over, around, straight up, straight down with a kick. I, very close together. I, down with a kick, dot to C. N, straight down, back up, hump over with a kick, and then G. I need to come over a little bit so I have room for my belly part. Over and around, straight up, straight down below with a left hook. Ding. Now I have no more room, so I'm going to go down to the next line, find the next dotted line, and that's where I will begin. D, midline, over, around, straight up, straight down with a kick. I is very close to it, so that's midline down, dot to C, N, midline down, hump over with a kick down below, G, over, around, straight up, straight down below with a left hook. Ding. Now once you have completed your work, you need to go back over and make sure it all looks the best that you can possibly do with making sure your letters are touching the midlines, they're touching the base lines where they're supposed to, letters are hanging down below that need to hang down below, that you have the dot to C above all the letters that need a dot above them. Okay, and then that you have proper spacing in between. Could just be a little ghost O or just a skip over, but do not make it too big. Then that's wasting space on your paper. Okay, continue to do your very best, and we'll be rushing through all of the manuscript letters and capital letters as well, and so that we can go ahead and dive into cursive. I'm so excited, cannot wait. So continue, do your best. Once you improve on this, then we'll be moving on. See you on Thursday.